Daca Renewals are all over the place, but they all have one thing in common, and that being that they are taking a lot longer than usual. So today I want to, make a video, short little video, and share what I've seen online. I am not a lawyer. I am not someone, high up there, no profession or anything. I'm just a member of a lot of groups online, a lot of forums, a lot of pages that I've seen where people share their experiences. And a lot of people are waiting. They've noticed one thing, the same as me, that being that they're taking a lot longer than, passive renewals. So to get started, what is DACA? DACA is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It's a program that started in 2012 for kids that were brought here illegally by their parents. Kids that didn't choose to come here. They were just brought here when they were little, and they don't know any other country. They call America their home. And ever since 2012, we've been able to renew every 2 years, paying a fee, of course, passing a background check, passing, you can't have no crimes. You have to be, up on the up and up, and everything's been fine. In fact, just following the USCIS guidelines, you were able to, send in your renewal based on what they say within, 3 or 4 months, 3, 4, 5 months, send in the renewal, and they've always been approved within, that time frame. In fact, a lot of people, myself included, would be approved within, 1 or 2 months. I've even known people that were approved in mere weeks, in just a couple weeks. Like, they sent it in, they got accepted, and a couple of weeks later, they got approved super fast. Also, for, a lot of people, you didn't have to go do fingerprints and biometrics every single time. They would just, waive it, and, you could go in once every 3, 4 renewals, every 6 years, and without having to go in every single time to do fingerprints. And that's been great. But things have changed since, that happened. And now, even for biometrics, if you haven't gone into biometrics within, the past 3 years, you're going to have to go in and do them again. So things are changing. And one thing that I've noticed a lot is that renewals are taking a lot longer. In fact, right now that I'm recording this video, it is March 20th, 2026. March 20th, 2026. And the latest that I've seen, of people sharing their timeline that they sent it in has been November 14th. November 11th or November 14th. I'll put a screenshot here on the screen of 2025. That's last year. That's in November of last year. And we are, just think about it, November, December, January, February, March. That's 4 months. 4 months. Right now it is March 20th, 2026. And they got approved, the second week of March. I'll have this, here, screenshot on the screen as well, you can see. That's 4 months. And there's even people from, before this timeline that have not been approved yet. So there's still people from the beginning of, November, end of, October that, are still waiting. Now, I don't want to scare you. I really don't. I don't want to scare none of y'all. Because people are still being approved. We are being approved. Everything's fine. Out of all people, doing immigration stuff, I think DACA is pretty much safe. Because, it's a program that we renew every 2 years. There's really no risk of, someone losing their DACA. I mean, just pay the fee, every 2 years. It's just this time around, you have to send it in earlier. The guidelines have always been, send it in 3 to 4 months before yours expires. But now, based on some really good lawyers, they say that when your DACA hits 1 year, so if your DACA is going to, expire with, like a year and a month, when it hits to 1 year, start, putting the money aside, and as soon as you can, send in your renewal. They say on the website that, they can decline your renewal, just like reject it. But they don't reject it. They just put it in the queue, and you'll be approved. So just send in the renewal. Get that peace of mind. Get peace of mind, because right now I keep seeing people, on these forums and Facebook posting how, they sent in the renewal, based on the USCIS guidelines, and they are being, not approved yet. They have been just put in the queue, and some of them have been expiring without, their renewal being approved. And what's horrible, though, is that a couple days ago, well, saw a video on the news, how they were talking about a DACA recipient that's, I think it was like a lab researcher, scientist, like someone, smart, that went to college to have a lot of, studying, that someone that is actually helping, improve America. How, they got arrested on their way to a hospital in Texas where their baby had been born premature, and they were stopped. I'm not really sure about the specifics about it, but it's just something I saw in the news. I don't know if they had, criminal background or, things back there. I think he had a removal order from like many, many years ago. But DACA actually, stops removal orders from, being enforced. Like, they give you deferred action. So even if you had a removal order from many, many years ago, you wouldn't be deported because DACA stops that. But the mistake he did was that he sent in his renewal, but it was not approved in time. So his DACA actually expired, and he was just unlucky. They caught him in a hospital, and it's just something that, it's not common. It's, but it was just, he was following the guidelines. He was following, what had been the rules for many, many years. But now things are changing. Things have changed. Now, something that I will say is that, I keep watching these lawyers talk about, make videos, talk about what's going on. The general consensus is that, they're not, being, USCIS is not just being like mean about it and just saying like, we're not going to approve people. Some of them have been thinking that, maybe before they had 100 people doing, DACA renewals, DACA applications. But now they might have cut staff to like 70 or 50 or 40 people instead of all of those people they had before. A lot of those people have been reassigned to do different tasks for different groups of people, and which means that less people are doing the DACA approvals. And I'm just thankful that they're still processing the DACA renewals. They're they're not denying them. They're not like other groups where they're just putting a hold on them indefinitely. They are actually processing DACA renewals. If you send in your application, you will be approved. It's just taking longer. It's taking a lot longer. So just prepare whenever you can, when it hits 1 year, or if it's 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, send in your renewal. Get that peace of mind. And if anything, I'll keep posting videos about DACA renewals and updates about it. But just do that. Send it in as soon as possible. Get that peace of mind, and see you guys later.